Good morning, children. In yesterday's class, we learned about the discovery of cell and by the number of cells, how we can classify the organisms you learnt and size of the cells and shape of the cell. These all we discussed in last class, and today we'll move on to the next topic of our cell lesson. And what are the parts present in a cell? How can we identify them? Those all we are going to see today, children. So our topic is parts of cell. Our today's topic is parts of a cell. To understand what are the different parts present in a cell, we are going to do one small activity now. Before understanding the parts in a cell, we'll do one small activity. To do this activity, you need one onion. Take one onion bulb, a forceps and a glass slide, and remove the pink color outer coatings of onion and choose a piece of onion and take the thin inner layer of onion with forceps. One small thin inner layer of the onion you can take. You can peel out this inner layer even with your nails. If not possible with forceps, better to use the forceps like this. The thinner layer of onion peel you take and take one glass slide. Place it in the center of the glass slide and add 1 or 2 drops of water above this onion peel, and now keep this glass slide under a microscope and observe the parts present in this onion peel cell. So the activity is about preparation of onion peel cell, preparation of onion peel cells. So you have taken one onion, removed all the pink color outer layers and has taken one thin layer of onion and placed it on a glass slide, added 2 drops of water above this onion peel and put a cover slip. This glass slide's cover slip and methylene blue, these all you will see in our lab when our physical class starts, or else you can go through the virtual labs which are available online. You can see this experiment lively in virtual labs. And above this onion peel, you keep a cover slip. To avoid the air bubbles, just tap on the cover slip and observe under the microscope. So you can observe the structures like this. You can find the structures when you see under the microscope, and these are nothing but the cells present in onion peel. The parts present in this onion peel are this thin membrane, thin covering is known as cell membrane. Cell membrane is present, and centrally a large part which is located at center of the cell known as nucleus, and between the nucleus and the cell membrane the jelly like liquid which is present known as cytoplasm. So these are the parts you can observe when you go through the microscope. These are the parts you can see. Now about each part we'll read in detail now. That is cell membrane. Each cell is bounded by a cell is surrounded by a membrane is known as cell membrane. The other name for the cell membrane is plasma membrane. Cell membrane is also known as plasma membrane. This membrane is made up of by proteins and lipids. You know about the nutrients. You know what are proteins and what are lipids. So based on these two types of submaterials, the plasma membrane is made up of. So it is the functions of this membrane we'll see now. What is the use of this plasma membrane we are going to see. To understand about plasma membrane, you see this boiled egg. To observe the plasma membrane, take an egg and boil it. Slowly remove the outer covering of boiled egg. A thin layer can be seen. This thin layer is only known as to the shell. Attached thin layer is present in this cell, outer cell covering of the egg. This thin layer is only known as plasma membrane. So this experiment you can see in your home. Boil the egg and try to remove the outer coating. Slowly when you remove it, the thin layer you can observe very clearly. The thin layer is known as, this thin layer is known as plasma membrane. Same way you can keep it on a glass slide, put 2 drops of water on it and add methylene blue to this. Methylene blue acts as dye. This dye gives the color to the cell parts. All the cell parts looks white in color. When you add methylene blue, it gives some color to these parts and you can observe them clearly. Now we will see the functions of cell membrane. The cell membrane gives the shape and size to the cell. It helps to give the shape to the cell. And it separates the one cell from the surrounding media, or else it separates from one cell to the other cell. It helps to separate from one cell to the other cell. It is separating the cell from its surroundings, and it allows only some ions to move in and out of the cell. It's helping to move ions to move in and out of the cell. That's why the cell membrane is also known as selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane. Why we are calling it as selectively permeable membrane means it is allowing the ions, selected ions, it's allowing, depending on the necessity, depending on the cell necessity, it allows few ions to move in and out, so that it's also known as selectively permeable membrane. So it's giving shape to the cell, it's allowing the ions to move in and out, and it is separating the surrounding cells with the other cell. So these are the functions of plasma membrane, and it is made up of by proteins and lipids. Cell membrane is made up of by proteins and lipids. It helps to give shape to the cell. So these are the functions of cell membrane. And next when we go to the animal cell. Animal cell and plant cell, there is one main difference is there, that is above this plasma membrane there is another rigid tough layer is present only in the plant cells. This layer is known as cell wall. So the cell wall is present only in the plant cells. It's absent in animal cells. So this plant cell is made up of with cellulose, a material known as cellulose. With the help of cellulose, the cell wall is made up of. It is it is helpful for the plant cell. It gives protection to the plant cell because the plants are staying outside and they have to withstand for n number of variations in the temperature like strong winds, rain, and due to this atmospheric changes, they need to withstand and to continue their metabolic activities like growth and all has to take place. To protect this, a tough coating like a membrane is present, that's only known as cell wall. It's a non-living substance. It's a non-living substance present outside the cell membrane. Then is it present in animal cell or not? To understand this, one more small activity you can do. Whether the cell wall is present in animal cell or not, to understand you can perform this activity how you did for the onion just now. In same way, take one toothpick and just scrap the inner layer of your cheek. Just a scrap like this. You just outer layer, white color part you can take on your toothpick, and the same white part just place it on a glass slide, middle of the glass slide which you scrapped inner side of your cheek, and the white color part which you got by scratching, that part place it on a glass slide at the center and add 1 or 2 drops of water to that white part, and then add 1 drop of methylene blue. And you already know the use of methylene blue. Methylene blue gives color. It makes the cell parts to visible colorfully. When the color parts are colorful, it is easy for you to understand. So after adding the methylene blue, place a cover slip on this. If air bubble comes, you tap on the cover slip and then observe under the microscope. So in animal cells, you can see the cells like this. Here also cell membrane is present. In animal cells also nucleus is present. As we discussed, the parts of cell, these 3 components are compulsory in any cell. These 3 components are present. One is cell membrane, the other one is nucleus and cytoplasm. These 3 components are compulsory, they are present in each and every cell. In the same way, even animal cells also, when you prepare this human cheek cell when you prepare, after preparing the slide, when you observe under the microscope, you can see the cells in this way. Each cell will have the cytoplasm and the nucleus, but only the difference is here the human cheek cells are not having cell wall, whereas when you observe the onion peel cell, outer part of the cell membrane, you can also see a wall known as cell wall. Another membrane which is present outside the cell membrane is cell wall. This cell wall is absent in human cheek cells. So that is the difference between animal cell and a plant cell. And next we will move on to the next topic. Once we will revise the functions of cell membrane. Okay. So the cell membrane gives shape to the cell and it separates from one cell to the other cell, and it is also separating one cell from its surrounding medium, and it protects the cell from external injuries. It protects the cell, and it also allows some ions to move in and out, so that it's also known as selectively permeable membrane. And it is allowing the substances by 2 methods. The cell membrane is allowing substances to move in and out by 2 methods. They are known as osmosis. One is osmosis and the second one is diffusion. osmosis and diffusion, these two methods, ions are moving in and out of a cell. Now we will see what's the meaning of osmosis. Osmosis takes place only in liquid medium. To understand this, you can do one more small activity, that is, take some chana, like this, some chana you take, or kismis, and put in water. Pour some water in this chana, soak it overnight, and next day morning, when you observe this chana, you will be able to see the chana seeds are turgid or bulges out. This is because of the osmosis process. That means the water molecules are moving inside of this seed through the membrane. The outer coat of this seed is known as cell membrane. So this membrane is allowing the water molecules to move inside the cell. Whenever the water enter inside, it turgid or it bulged out. Because of this, your chanas are swelling, and same way kismis also we can observe the same process. That means we can define the osmosis as the movement of molecules, the movement of ions from higher concentration to lower concentration. In liquid medium, the water molecules are moving from higher concentration to the lower concentration. This is known as osmosis process. So to occur osmosis process, the cell membrane is compulsory. Wherever the cell membrane is there, only there the osmosis process takes place. So this you can also observe in different solutions like hypertonic solution, hypotonic solutions, and isotonic solutions. You can observe osmosis process in these three solutions. Hypertonic means the outside the cell more concentration, inside the cell less concentration will be. Opposite to this is hypotonic. And isotonic means inside the cell, outside the cell. Both the areas concentration will be same. So wherever the liquid medium is present, there the osmosis process takes place and the cell membrane allow ions to move in and out according to the situation. And when we come to the next process, this is diffusion process. In diffusion, there is no need of any media. In osmosis, it's taking place only in the liquid medium, but here in the diffusion, any medium it can take place, and ions are moving from higher concentration to lower concentration. Ions are moving from higher concentration to lower concentration, and in diffusion there is no need of cell membrane. No need of cell membrane. Without the cell membrane, diffusion process can take place. But for the osmosis, compulsory cell membrane is needed. For example, if you keep a dhoop stick in your puja room, the smell of that dhoop stick, you can get the smell near your entrance of the house. This is because of the diffusion process. The ions are moving, spreading from higher concentration to the lower concentration areas. So by this way, the ion movement will take place with the help of cell membrane. Now the important functions of cell membrane, you got an idea. It's giving shape to the cell. It's separating the cell from other cells. It's also separating cell from the surrounding media. It is protecting the cell. It's allowing the ions to move in and out. and acting as a selectively permeable membrane. And next, three components are present in each and every cell we discussed. And now we will move on to the next component. What is that? That is the dense jelly-like structure is known as cytoplasm. So this cytoplasm is present between the cell membrane to the nucleus. The space between the nucleus is present at the center of the cell. The center of the cell nucleus is located. So the place between this nucleus to the cell membrane, the space what is there, in that space is filled with a jelly-like substance known as cytoplasm. So in this cytoplasm, all your cell organelles are present. The cell organelles are present in cytoplasm. They are floating in the cytoplasm. All your cell organelles are floating in the cytoplasm. In our coming classes, we'll discuss about the different cell organelles, what are located, what are present in the cytoplasm and their functions, what way they are helping us. In detail about each cell organelle we are going to read. So this is the second component which is present in each and every cell. Either it may be plant cell or animal cell. Each cell have these components. So you understood about cytoplasm. Now the last part is, the third component is the nucleus. This nucleus is identified by a famous scientist known as Robert Brown. Robert Brown first time identified in 1851. He identified the presence of nucleus. So the nucleus has a membrane. How your cell is surrounded by a cell membrane, how the plant cell around the plant cell have a cell wall, same way the nucleus is also surrounded by a membrane. Again a membrane is present around the nucleus. This is known as nuclear membrane. The membrane which is present around the nucleus known as nuclear membrane. So this nuclear membrane have some pores on it. They are known as nuclear pores. The pores present in nuclear membrane known as nuclear pores. So these nuclear pores help to send the materials from outside, send the ions to move from outside to inside the nucleus. And it helps to separate the nucleus and the cytoplasm. It is separating the cytoplasm and the nucleus. And it acts like a membrane. It gives protection to the nucleus. The organisms, all the living organisms will not have the nuclear membrane. The organisms which have the nuclear membrane, those organisms are known as eukaryotic organisms or eukaryotic cells. The cells which have the nuclear membrane, they are known as eukaryotic cells. All animal cells and plant cells are eukaryotic. So the cells which have the nuclear membrane, it's known as those cells are known as eukaryotic cells. Some organisms will not have any membrane like this. Only single nucleus is present without any nuclear membrane. Such cells are known as prokaryotic cells. Those are known as prokaryotic cells. After discussing the functions of cell organelles which are floating in cytoplasm, and then we will see the differences between eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. There are a number of differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So in detail, after the cell organelles, we will discuss one more time about the eukaryotes and prokaryotic cell differences. At the same way, the plant cell and animal cell differences sequences also, after we are completing the organelles, again we'll discuss. And now, the centrally located nucleus, the nucleus surrounded by a nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane is helping to separate the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Between this nucleus and the nuclear membrane, the liquid present is known as nucleoplasm. Don't get confused, children. Between the cell membrane and the nucleus, here once again clearly I'll show you. Between this is a cell surrounded by a cell membrane, centrally located nucleus. So between the cell membrane and the nucleus, the jelly substance known as cytoplasm. Okay, this is clear to you. And around the nucleus also there is a membrane. This is known as nuclear membrane. Right? So this nuclear membrane present between the nucleus and the nuclear membrane. Nucleoplasm. This nucleoplasm present between nucleus and the nuclear membrane. Cytoplasm present between cell membrane and the nucleus. So this is a living substance. Because of this nucleoplasm and the cytoplasm, our body is made up of n number of millions of trillions of cells present in our body. Every cell is performing its duty. Because of that, you are alive and you are able to carry out your metabolic activities. So, these all are, this nucleoplasm and cytoplasm are living substance. So, both of nucleoplasm and cytoplasm together called as protoplasm. So, understood now? What's the meaning of protoplasm? Protoplasm means cytoplasm plus nucleoplasm. Cytoplasm plus nucleoplasm known as protoplasm. Protoplasm is a living substance. Because of this, the cells are able to carry out their functions. And where cytoplasm is present, where nucleoplasm is present, you know clearly. So, up to this, we have completed two components of the cell. Over. Now, the last one, nucleus. Inside the nucleus, a thread-like structures are present. Inside the nucleus, the thread-like structures present, which are known as chromatin. What we call these thread-like structures inside the nucleus? Chromatin. So this chromatin is made up by DNA. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. The thread-like structure inside the nucleus known as chromatin. Chromatin is made up of DNA. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. So with the help of this, the chromatin is made up of. This chromatin helps to transfer the characters from your parents to the offsprings. When anybody looks at you, they'll say you are resembling like your father, you are resembling like your grandparents. These characters you are acquiring because of your DNA is passed on from your parents to you. So that is the function of this chromatin material. We'll read more about this nucleus whenever we are going to discuss about cell organelles. Understood, children? So till now we discussed about three components. The parts of a cell we discussed in our class today. One is cytoplasm, one is cell membrane, the other one is nucleus. and the cell is surrounded by a cell membrane. Cell membrane other name is plasma membrane. It is also called as selectively permeable membrane because it is allowing the selected ions to move in and out. That's why it got a name as selectively permeable membrane. And the functions of the cell membrane clearly we discussed. Next, cytoplasm, the jelly-like substance between nucleus to the cell membrane known as cytoplasm. Cytoplasm functions are all the cell organelles present in that. And the last component is nucleus. Nucleus present in the center of the cell and it is surrounded by a membrane known as nuclear membrane. If nuclear membrane is present, those are eukaryotic cells. If nuclear membrane is absent, those are prokaryotic cells. Between the nucleus and nuclear membrane, the other jelly-like substance is nucleoplasm. So nucleoplasm and cytoplasm together, known as protoplasm. This protoplasm is a living substance. And finally, we discussed about nucleus. Inside the nucleus, the thread-like structures known as chromatin. Chromatin made up of by DNA. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. The functions of the nucleus or the chromatin is to pass the characters from parents to the offsprings. So this is our class today. And do some homework, children. Your home assignment is write the differences, draw the diagram of a cell, and label the parts. Draw the diagram of a cell and label the parts. And the second one is write an activity to make a onion peel cell. Slides. Write an activity to prepare an onion peel cell slides. How to prepare onion peel cell we discussed. So write an activity. Clearly you mention the aim of your activity, materials what you need and procedure what you have to do, and finally what's your observation. So write an activity to prepare the onion peel cell slides. Okay children, thank you.